rebuilding efforts right now. Some of it, like rumors that funds are being diverted or stolen to house migrants, which is a false rumor, has been pushed by former President Donald Trump. You have talked about this. FEMA's even launched a webpage to correct the record on the rumors that are swirling. But last night, Donald Trump continued promoting another false rumor about FEMA.
His accusations are just completely false. I think the first thing I would say is just because you don't see somebody on the ground in a FEMA shirt doesn't mean we don't have people there. We have people that are embedded in the State Emergency Operations Center. I have teams that are walking around neighborhoods. I have teams that are embedded with all of the county EOCs. People are on the ground, but we're also bringing in resources, and it's not just FEMA. We are one part of the federal family. We have over 3,400 members from across all federal agencies in North Carolina helping to support this response. We will continue to bring in more resources as we go into the recovery and the long-term needs that these communities have. Kate, we really have just got to stop this rhetoric, because what it's doing is it's putting fear in the people that we're not going to be there to help them. And I worry that they won't register for assistance with us and get access to the critical resources that they are eligible for.
There's nothing here.
We're 8 days, 9 days post-hurricane, and that was the first FEMA drop I've seen here in the Swananoa area.
I haven't seen a FEMA agent yet. This is all local volunteers from abroad, as far as Washington State, are coming out here to help and pick up the slack that's been left behind from our government.
You know, and President Trump, he's not even in office, but yet he's still getting a Starlink. He's doing his best. He's shaking all the trees. If we're talking about federal assistance, I didn't see my first FEMA truck until, what is today, Saturday? I didn't see my first FEMA truck until Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. And all I saw was a FEMA truck with a satellite on it, parked in a corner underneath some shade trees in a parking lot with no signage, no information. I don't know why they're there.
Now is Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, of course, who oversees FEMA and so much more. Secretary Mayorkas, first of all, thank you. I wanted to ask, how does the misinformation impact relief efforts?
Very, very significantly, Andrea. Thank you for having me. It is extraordinarily damaging. Most of all, it is extraordinarily damaging to survivors of Hurricane Helene, of natural disasters. Individuals lose trust in their government. They are reluctant to seek the assistance that they need to meet their immediate demands: food, water, shelter. They don't seek it. They are entitled to it. They need it. We implore them to ignore the false information that is being spread and to seek the help that we have available to them.
President Trump, he's not even in office, but yet he's still getting a Starlink. About federal assistance, I didn't see my first FEMA truck until, what is today, Saturday? I didn't see my first FEMA truck until Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. And all I saw was a FEMA truck with a satellite on it, parked in a corner underneath some shade trees in a parking lot with no signage, no information. I don't know why they're there.
The word from the people that we talk to, and they say, when we say, who else has been here, can we help, maybe we can work together, they're like, we're the first ones, or the only other people that have helped us is another private, citizens that are just basically our neighbors or our friends trying to help us. They hadn't seen anyone from the federal government yet.
When our vice president talks on the TV about $750 for FEMA, yeah, that's not good. The only information that I've gotten about FEMA actions on the ground has been an attempt to sort of stop some of the volunteer efforts, especially, there's a medical support trailer that's here by volunteers. They have doctors and registered nurses. They're all licensed doctors and registered nurses. They were told they couldn't do what they were doing because it was not being federally controlled or something along those lines. I've seen one helo come in, and I was told that was FEMA, and that was it. Today was the first FEMA delivery that I've seen or I've heard of in the entire region.
Harris touring hard-hit communities across the Southeast, and earlier this week deploying active-duty troops. Donald Trump preparing to make his second visit to Georgia today and claiming without evidence that the Biden administration is withholding aid from states, including
doing as much as I possibly can to raise funds for our community in this region. I've been helping people fix their houses up, get water out. This is so disgusting. So watch this. So I've been told this, again, countless times. I've been told this, and I said, I need to verify this story before I post it and I report on this, because this is unbelievably disgusting. But what can we expect from our government? Nothing short of full corruption. So listen, Red Cross and FEMA/TEMA has arrived, and all donations that have been given to local high school volunteers have been confiscated. I have been told this directly. Here's a source. Starting with David Crockett High School, they're taking over all volunteer schools in Washington County and Greene County. That's only 3 or 2 counties of the other 7. So many more counties.
Confiscating donations from civilians seems to be the modus operandi in all the affected areas. Now, you might be wondering, what in the world are they doing with these donations? Well, it turns out they're using these resources to fulfill their primary role.
So I'm here in Boone, North Carolina. I'm at the staging area. I volunteered myself and my canines to come up and do some search and rescue efforts. FEMA is in the area, and we've been told that if we see any FEMA agents, hightail it and go. So, obviously you see all my equipment. So we've been told to just turn around and go the opposite direction, because what they're doing is they're confiscating everything. They would confiscate all of my gear, my car, my dogs, literally everything. There are some people who have been tracked FEMA agents and what they do with these supplies after, and these are people that are directly associated with the group that I'm volunteering with. And essentially what they're doing is they're taking these supplies to sanctuary areas for illegal migrants and giving it all to them. They are telling the locals here that they have no more money, that they can't give them any money, they can't do anything, but they are confiscating volunteer supplies as they come through, and they are giving it to people who are not legal within the country.
So basically, if it's authentic, then apparently FEMA has been doing the same thing in Puerto Rico. So basically, giving donations to FEMA might be bad, and that's exactly what this local police department member is telling everyone.
Donate. Please donate what you can. Try to find a nonprofit to donate to, a church, local PD. A lot of those are taking donations, sheriff's departments. I know my department is running a bunch of stuff to the western part of the state to help. Donate. But please do not donate to FEMA. They are hindering a lot of what people are trying to accomplish out in the western part of the state. FEMA doesn't understand that these Appalachian people are built differently. I'm very familiar with them. They are not going to stand by idly and have government officials tell them what to do. FEMA's playing a game of FAFO because free men don't ask for permission. Again, please donate and help these people out. They need us.
And you're wondering why the government hasn't rushed to help you? Well, this man might have some answers for you.
In 2023, FEMA has used about $740 million toward different cities and states to help with a migrant crisis that was created by the current administration. For those paying attention, it's not Trump. It's actually Biden and Harris. Even with that, there's about another $340 million that was left to be allocated in 2023. In 2024, FEMA has already allocated $770 million toward the same exact thing. This money allocation comes from what's called the Emergency Food and Shelter Program. It's a program that's actually designed for American citizens in the case of an emergency food or shelter crisis. During the crisis that happened in Palestine, Ohio, there was a whopping $0 that was given to American citizens during that crisis from FEMA. The wildfires that happened in Maui, those 7,000 residents got about $22 million in housing assistance and about another $30 million to rebuild, so a whopping $50 million. to rebuild them. In North Carolina, where we're seeing all the absolute destruction up there, we have about 13 different military bases that are at the command, including the 82nd Airborne. The 82nd Airborne also has the 18th Airborne, which is probably the most equipped unit to be able to handle these sorts of emergencies. In fact, it's basically why they were created. The Biden administration has been so absolutely bad at this that we're on day 6, and most of these communities in those areas aren't even touched. No one's even seen anybody from FEMA. The Biden-Harris administration has authorized a whopping $750 to help and assist people that are up in North Carolina. These people have no power, no internet, no way to even access the money because most of them don't even have access to a bank right now. It's another reminder that the federal government is not coming to save you.